Before I would begin, I'd like to apologize for the noise in the background, but we're just going to try to work through it. It's just going to come and go. I like to start these from the very beginning. That way, if you have not already done so, you can look below this video in the description box. You'll find a link for this program, Stellarium. It's free. There's a PDF manual on how to use it, a link for your Android, your iMac, your Linux, or any of your Windows operating systems. When you first turn on Stellarium, launch the bottom taskbar. I do this so I can show you how to do it for yourself. So when you begin to carry your cross, launch the bottom taskbar, coming from the right to the left. We're going to come across to this icon. It's your meteor showers. Turn that off. In the next set of symbols, you'll see a lightning bolt. We're going to turn that one on. And then we're going to come across to the atmosphere, cardinal points, landscape. Turn all that off. In the last set of symbols, you'll see a running man icon. You can turn that one on. Then we're going to launch the left-hand taskbar, going all the way to the top. An 8-pointed star is a symbol for navigation. It's ruled by Mercury. You come here in the search tab and you put in the name of the city you want, and it's not here. We can also change the country. Oops. There we go. And try put the name of this city in here. I have to do this manually is what I'm doing. Then we're going to come over here. I anticipated this, so we have to change the logistics. Let's start here, and this should be 5-4. Oops. 5-4. Eight, 3. 3, 3. 1. And this, to start with, it should be east. 9. 3, 5, 6, 9. Then you're going to come down here and add it to the list. Whoop, let me change the time zone. Europe. Let me go check that time. I think I know. Let me go check that time zone and see which one it is. Let me pause the video. Okay, I have it at local mean solar time. That's what you do when you're adding it to the list. And then we come down here and we add it to the list. So the next time you come in and put it in the search bar, it'll pop right up. Make sure the arrow's pointed in the correct place. Come back down to the running man icon and make sure the name of the city is over his head. Then we can X this box out. Come back to the left-hand taskbar, to the clock icon. Our target date is February the 24th, 1967. Oops. And our time is 10:33 a.m. I'm going to put it at 32, let it clock over, and set it in the corner. If you need to, you can come over here and use the search tool and type it in, but we can see the sun is right here. It can jump from a halt. So you're on the fixed cross. There are 3 crosses at Golgotha, 3 crosses in the heavens, and 3 in alchemy. This is fixed heavens. It's fixed air. It's masculine. Its color is red. It's ruled by Saturn. So Saturn is your ruling planet. Get a quick drink. We're just going to take a quick look and see where everybody's at. Mercury, you can come over here in the logistics, longitude, latitude, and right below IAU constellation, Pisces. So you have Mercury, Saturn, and Venus all in Pisces. Your lesson, your purpose for being here, your lesson here is Saturn. Saturn in Aquarius rules astrology and alchemy. This is his circle. He has a lesson. And your lesson is the lesson of Pisces. Let me pause for the noise. We'll talk more about that. I'm just going to take a quick peek where everybody's at. Jupiter in Gemini. The moon over here in Leo all by itself. You're going to have Uranus is going to be in Virgo. I think Pluto might still be in Leo. Mars in Virgo, mutable Earth. Well, this is a difficult chart right off the bat. Let's talk about your sun. So when you talk in alchemy, the 3 crosses, the mutable cross is the adept, the fixed cross is the master, and the cardinal cross is the grandmaster. So you are master of air. Your moon, on the other hand, is how other people see you. And it's exactly the opposite of where your sun is. And it's in fixed fire, also masculine. Its color is gold or yellow. So they see you as the lion. The lion here, it's about courage, right? Courageous. It's also about famous people. But the thing about it, we don't count the outer planets because they're not connected to the chakras. So the moon is over here by itself. When I see this, I think of it's an only child or a lonely child. When we look at your natal chart with using alchemy, that's exactly what we're looking at, is you as a child. Predominantly the first 15 years. Where the stars are is what makes up your childhood. We'll go through your Saturn returns and we'll see how you grow and how you change. But this is a picture of really the first 30 years of your life. But the first 15 are going to be the most influential that build who you are. That's what we're looking at. That's why I call it an only child or a lonely child. Now we can look that, a middle child can kind of get lost in the crowd. The baby gets the attention, the oldest one gets the privilege, and the middle child is just not there. But we'll see. Our neglected one. Sometimes it presents itself in the chart. Alright, I want to kick this back real quick and do your rising sign. Rising sign is not in alchemy, but mine seems very prevalent in my life. We're going to turn on the cardinal points in the landscape, and then you're going to have to come over here right below the clock in the left-hand taskbar to the rectangle with the star markings in it, and come to landscape and go to the bottom over here, 0, horizon. Then we go find the east. You find the east, then you find the zodiac. So you are Taurus rising, basically with Aldebaran rising. Prima Hydem. Let's find out. Actually, let me kick it back 1 minute. Yep. Let's find out the translation to that star name. You have a star on the horizon. Second one of the Alcalayas. You're going to have to look that word up. Alcalayas. They're not going to give us the full translation, but it has to do with the bull. So, your rising sign, your moon sign, and your sun sign are all on the fixed cross. All three of them are at master level. Fixed air, fixed earth, and fixed fire. Very interesting. Haven't seen that before. Well, let me get us out of the Arabic. I don't want to confuse you because we're talking, this would be the Arabian Nights. We're talking the Bible. So I use this one. All right. I like to start with the outer planets. Let's go find out what all this means. Pluto in Leo. That's what I thought right at the end. Right after the end of the baby boomers. So they say, who started the fire? The generation of Pluto in Leo started the fire, the baby boomers. What fire? The fire, to understand the fire here, you have to go back over here. Pluto in Cancer was World War I and World War II. Right here. It was just an age of destruction, a generation of destruction. The baby boomers came along and they started a fire about peace, love, no more war. It started in the 50s, early 50s, it ended in the mid 60s. So you're part of the Pluto in Leo generation. Now, you got Uranus is in Virgo. I mean, they're almost, when you lay up the lines, you can see they're so close together but in different constellations. Now, both of these, Pluto, well, that's not Pluto. Pluto and Uranus and Neptune, the outer planets, are not connected to your chakras, nor do they rule any of the houses of the zodiac. You'd have to live to be over 100 to get a Pluto return in your life. The alchemy doesn't even make sense. Pluto is the subconscious mind, and he works in the etheric world with Saturn for transformation, transmutation. Uranus is the conscious mind and works in the physical world with Jupiter for transformation, transmutation. Transmutation in our lives occurs on the mutable cross. You have Uranus on the mutable cross and Pluto on the fixed cross. So Pluto, his alchemy will affect you when it's in a fire sign and when it's on the fixed cross. You've already had your Pluto fixed cross here when Pluto was in Scorpio. Now you have your Pluto fire. It's why your generation was born. Pluto is here now in fire again. But it's the fire in the mind. It's the illuminated mind. It's ideology and philosophy. And Pluto's here to implement why the fire was started to begin with. This is the finish of it, the culmination for your generation. Now is the time to take away the old ways, the old ideologies, the old, just a world at constant war, and into a new way of thinking. And Pluto's here doing it on the subconscious level. The subconscious mind speaks in symbolism. The conscious mind speaks in language. The symbols are being perverted. When you come in agreement with perverted symbols, your subconscious and the collective subconscious of your generation will manifest them the wrong way. Now, while Pluto is here, you're supposed to be questioning, doing your shadow work, questioning yourself as to why you believe what you do. It's like as a kid, you grow up believing in Santa Claus, and then you find out it's not real. You go through a paradigm shift, and that's what occurs here. Our beliefs tell us what our reality or what our paradigm is. Well, here it's going to happen on a subconscious level, and you need to do your shadow work, because after the mutation is the manifestation, and that manifestation is either going to manifest your daydreams or your nightmares, and it's coming from the subconscious. So you have to make sure you dealt with your demons. That way you don't manifest 20 years of just your nightmares. And you've got till 2020 to do this work, to do this alchemy. If you don't know what Monsters of the Id is, please watch the old sci-fi movie, The Forbidden Planet. It will explain to you what the monsters of the id are and how we manifest them. Now, is Pluto retrograde? We come over here to the logistics, and we look at ecliptic longitude, latitude, in parentheses, J2000.0. Our numbers are 170, 10007. How unique. We are going to watch the 10007. You caught a 007 with Pluto. The numbers decreased. You have a Pluto retrograde. Like I said, the outer planets are not connected to your chakras, so this energy is easy to transmute, and it can actually be in your favor, and this one is. Pluto retrograde. You win arguments you don't deserve to win. And this, when we look at the outer planets, that's going to be more of you, your whole life, right? We don't look at their alchemy changing. It's for your whole life. Well, right up until he hit the next cross. So this is not just simply childhood here. This is generational. You'll win arguments you don't deserve to win. Let's, in your favor, let's go to Uranus. Uranus is going to affect you for transmutation on the mutable cross and in an earth sign. Currently, Uranus is in cardinal fire. It just left mutable water, and it will not affect you again until it enters fixed earth, and that'll be in 2024. So earlier this month, it's been about 3 weeks that Uranus just came into here. So you're good to go with Uranus. You don't have to deal with that till after 2024, and by then you're going to have your second Saturn return, and all of that's going to play out in your favor here. What you'll have to do here, you're going to be looking at retirement, and this is going to be investments about your future, about securing your future, securing your retirement, your work, your investments, payoffs on investments. Actually, I guess the simplest way to say it would be you will be reaping what you have sown and worked for your life. Work. This is work. It's not the lottery. It's not a free gift. It's earned. It's worked for. It's earned. Sometimes an inheritance can be earned, but it's not like just hitting the lottery. But good fortune there for you. But with Uranus coming in there, what it's going to ask you to do is to change the way that you deal with your money. Earth signs they work, they're hard workers. It's about saving for the future, security. It's important to you that you know you're going to have a roof over your head tomorrow and the next day and after that. A place to call home, so to speak. That's what you're going to be dealing with, and it's going to change. Either you change it or it does it for you. Let me explain. Both of these planets, they're real slow when they come into a sign, and they're like a rubber band. They're just going to stretch and go along with you and stretch some more, and they're going to give you the entire time they're there to do this alchemy yourself. That way you get to decide the who, what, where, when, why, and how it's done. But if you don't, they'll do it for you in the twinkling of an eye, in just a moment. Pluto in the etheric world. It can be like you're on top of the world. You just bought a house, and you go to work the next day, and you get fired from your job. Now you can't pay for that house. It just rips the rug right out from under you. Uranus is worse. Uranus in the physical world. In an earth sign, it can be like an earthquake. In a fire sign, it can set your house on fire and burn down everything you got, including the people you love. In a water sign, flood, it can be that extreme and that devastating. In an air sign, it can be a tornado, to where one minute your house is there, the next minute it's gone. These two can go to the extreme. If you have repeated events of disaster in your life, you can generally go back and see the pattern of when one of these planets left a sign and you didn't do that alchemy. We have our own alchemy through each one, but the one that affects you and your generation that's important is on the mutable cross and in an earth sign. So always pay attention to these two. Pluto's going to leave Sagittarius next year, and Uranus is going to leave Aries in 2024. Alright, now to we didn't see if Uranus is retrograde, and that's very important. We need to know this. Our numbers are 173, 34, 367. We're going to watch the 34 and 367. Yes, retrograde. Glad I looked. Uranus retrograde. You're too rebellious. You're overly rebellious. Now that can be good if you know when to say no. If you know what you should be rebelling against. Now, this is bad if you don't want the change. If you fight against the transformation that either Pluto or Uranus bring your way, they're going to take you down. Don't fight the change. You know, we get to places in our lives where we're comfortable, right? I finally made it. I'm here. I live where I want to live. I've got the partner I want. And we don't want any more change. We're here. This is what I want. And then, poof, there it goes. It's ripped out from under us, came out of left field. We don't know why. Well, that's why. Well, because without change, there's no growth. And we're here to become. It's about growing. It's about becoming. And so, if you don't make the changes, it will be forced. Alright, I'm going to pause here, get me a drink, and we'll continue on with Neptune. Alright. Neptune in Libra. This is your imagination. When we think imagination, we think etheric. So we automatically associate Neptune with Saturn. You can't touch the imagination. Saturn rules the spirit world. But Neptune works with Jupiter as well. The imagination is the go-between. It's how everything manifests here. To manifest from the etheric, you have to go through the imagination, Neptune, into the physical world. Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter. That's how it works. So how this alchemy works is when Neptune is on the same cross or in the same element with Saturn, you'll have these magnificent ideas, and they'll just pop out of thin air. Stuff that can change your life and even humanity, the world. Now, the big thing is if you will work on these ideas and continue to work on them as Neptune moves, when it comes onto the same cross or the same element with Jupiter, those ideas will manifest into the physical world. Now, unfortunately, these alignments can take years and even decades. But there are times in our life where we find Saturn, Jupiter, and Neptune all on the same cross or all in the same element somewhere. Then the manifestation can go from years and decades to weeks and months. It can be rather quick. And then there are those rare times that we find Saturn, Jupiter, and Neptune all in one house, all at one time. Then the manifestation can be almost instantaneous. Now, here's what's going on for you with Neptune. In 2020, we have the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. It's the biggest generational marker of all. When Saturn and Jupiter meet, the door to the Black Lodge opens, and it sets the stage for the next 20 years. The Black Lodge is the collective subconscious, and Pluto rules it. The monsters of the id, Pluto rules it. We are, because Pluto's going to be here within this conjunction, we are going to collectively manifest from the subconscious. If you do your shadow work and you have no monsters of the id to manifest, then you have the power to manifest your daydreams. If it was Uranus in the conjunction, Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, we would manifest from the conscious mind. Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto manifest from the subconscious. Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune, it would have manifest our daydreams straight from the imagination. Now, here's where it affects you. If you do your shadow work with Pluto here, because your Neptune is on the cardinal cross, this energy here trines this energy here. So you have an imagination that's the most high of heaven. This is cardinal air. Your imagination is what I call beyond the stars. Let's see if it's retrograde. Our numbers are 48539. Yeah. So you have, not only is it in cardinal air, grand master air imagination, it's retrograde, it's overactive. All three of your outer planets are retrograde. Now, as a child, this retrograde will manifest itself like you have a learning disability. You don't pay attention. You're all off in your head. Now the moon is starting to explain itself. Why is the moon over here all by itself? You're the loner. You've got this crazy, wild-ass imagination, and you're always off in your head. You're staring out the window at school, and you're not paying attention. You don't have a learning disability. You actually have an exceptional gift. You're simply bored. What goes on in your head is far more fascinating than what's going on in the classroom. So you're just simply not paying attention. In adulthood, this manifests as you multitask in your mind. You're having a conversation with somebody, and they're just chattering away, blah, 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 blah. And you're sitting there going, yeah, but you're not listening to anything they say. You're somewhere else. You're off in your head. So everything has its duality, its good side and its bad side, but this could really play out for you in 2020. And you could, if you do your shadow work here, ask yourself those tough questions. Why do I hate this and love that? Where does that come from? You know, it's like growing up in the church, and then you find out it's just misinterpreted doctrine. We leave the church, but then we still have the same prejudices based on that programming. You're dying and going to hell. You know, 10 commandments, we carry them around with us. You know, throw all that away. You got to let it all go and ask yourself the big question. This is philosophy and ideology on with Pluto here on a collective subconscious level for an entire, actually for 2 generations, because it's fire and mutable. The Leo part caught the fire, and the Virgo mutable part. They're doing this together. This 2 generations are working together here to make this happen. And we're all part of it. But you have, this is a gift. This is a natural born ability that you have the ability to manifest. But you got to learn to not manifest the monsters, right? The negativity. When we manifest what we focus, we're the observer. If you're focusing on negative, that's what you're going to manifest. If your imagination is the monsters in the closet, then monsters you will get, especially at that level. All right, we've done the outer planets. Neptune has another job. We'll get back to that momentarily. Let's talk about Mercury in Pisces. Mercury is debilitated in Pisces. He's also retrograde. It's like last year we had Mercury debilitated, retrograde, combust of the sun, all in Pisces. And it done it again this year. 2 years in a row, Mercury went retrograde here. And you have it in your chart. So you felt that the last 2 years, the Mercury retrograde in Pisces has affected you worse than any. Mercury debilitated. Debilitated just means weak. Mercury rules logic, intelligence, communication. Retrograde, that's going to affect your communication, because you're going to say one thing and people are going to hear something totally different. They don't even see you already. You are fixed air, but they see you as the opposite of you, fixed fire. They don't see you at all. We'll talk more about this in a minute. But you got a communication breakdown. It could be a lack of vocabulary, shy, unable to express yourself. We'll see if some of the others, because you got a lot here with it. Your Venus, on the other hand, is exalted here. And I just seen the problem. So you'll be really lucky in love. Got a big heart. You'll do okay there. Venus exalted here, helping out with your lesson in Saturn. You know, this is groupthink. The lesson here is religion. I just done a chart that had a Saturn here that kind of freaked me out. You know, the lesson here is what I call the tail of the Leviathan. It's the fish tail, the tail of Leviathan. It's the religion tales. The beast out of the sea. He's legion. He's many. It's groupthink. It's groupthink. A lot of lesson from Saturn here. You got a lot on your plate. Let's keep going. We got to go to some more bad news. Mars, are you retrograde? Nope, but he's in a bad place for you. 2 things. 1, Mars is your root chakra, your emotions. Here, and your actions. Here, he's on the mutable cross. It's an earth sign, so he's a little grounded, but bipolar. When Mars is on the feminine axis of the mutable cross, he comes off as bipolar. That's either really, really happy or really, really sad. No middle ground. There's no gray area. The emotions don't know how to just be. They're either charged one way or the other all the time. So, could be overly emotional, come off as bipolar. But your emotion is just, it's like having a short circuit in a cord or in a light, and the light just flickers. Yeah, short-circuited here. root chakra. You know, what we find on the mutable cross in our birth chart is where the most change is going to come. And so yours is going to be your Mars, your Venus, and your Mercury. All three of your upper chakras are in mutable earth and mutable water. You got all this fixed and mutable going on. You can see what's fixed, unchangeable, don't move, your sun, rising, and moon. But the rest is all on the table for change. Mutable, transmute. So, another thing about this Mars, it denotes a negative masculine influence in your life. This is the damsel in distress. This is the woman they tie up and put on the railroad tracks. This is the guy that does it. This is Rapunzel. This is the guy who puts her in the castle. He's the villain here. He's the villain. Jupiter plays the rescuer here, the Prince Charming, coming to rescue the damsel in distress. This here is a negative masculine influence in your life, and it can come from a man or a woman. We all have masculine and feminine in us. Cancer is the divine feminine, but that's Mama's house. Mama wears the pants at home. Mama has the masculine authority at home. So this can be a man or a woman in your life, but you have a really bad negative energy around you, and it's in a person. Your outer planets done you favor. Your inner planets did not. Venus is the best thing you got going right now. That's the best thing in your chart. Your Venus and your Neptune. And this is Venus's house. So your heart and your imagination seem to be connected. Your actions are opposite what you say and what your heart is. And your lesson. Let's go to Jupiter. Is he retrograde? Yes, this is okay. Jupiter retrogrades in your favor. You think outside of the box. Now, Jupiter is your desires and your belief system. He's in the house of Hermetics. I would almost say as a child, you desired to just be left alone. Right over here. Just leave me alone. This is the hermit. Hermes. He's the hermit. Now, as far as belief system, it would be Hermetic. Buddha, Thoth, Hermes Trismegistus, Viracocha, Lord Pakal, all of that great knowledge from the age of Gemini. Very Hermetic, but mutable. Venus is helping you. Neptune is helping you. And Jupiter in this position is helping you. He's benevolent here. You think outside of the box. This is to your benefit. So Hermetics will help you. Now, to the really bad news. Our numbers are 34361. Oh, please, did that go forward? Oh, great. Not bad news. Not really bad news, just your lesson. I thought that was retrograde. I was looking at it wrong. Glad to see it's not. Whew, that took a load off me. Your lesson here is religion and groupthink. When we talk water, like I said, Cancer, cardinal water, that's Mama's house, the divine feminine. These are the people in your home. Water is the people in our lives. These are the people in your home, your family, the people you're related to. The water here in Scorpio, these are the people you choose in your life. Your best friends, your lovers, people you're intimate with, people you tell secrets to, people you bring home for dinner. These are associates. It's groupthink. People you work with. Y'all have the same job, so you are of a like mind. People you go to church with. Groupthink. People, associates. People you see every day or on a regular basis, but they're not in your family and you don't bring them home for dinner. So groupthink, this is your lesson. Religion, church, the collective. All of this is what you have to learn. I'm going to help you out a little bit and throw you a bone. It is about school. It is about change and transmutation. This fish represents what I call the Old Testament, black and white Masonic church. And it still worships the god of fire over here in Aries. This is the New Testament church, and this fish has the red words, and he's trying to get to our Father who art in heaven over here. So this is what you have to learn, and it's the fish tales, it's Leviathan, it's the religion, and they're all just stories of the stars, that they made a religion, right? And this is the end of the story. You're at the end of the tale. T-A-L-E. It began over here when they came out of Egypt. And it ends when we leave Pisces. He's legion. He's many. This is the Vatican. The ruling power of this age. And it has the leash on all this religion. And you'll just have to go to the story. It's about Andromeda, the chained woman, the church. She's in the head. The sheepfold is here. The people in the pews are in the head of Leviathan for these 2 ages from the Egyptian. What kills Leviathan? It is the head of Medusa, turns the kraken to stone and rescues the chained woman. Perseus, the man on the horse. The horse represents your memory. When you get your memory back, it's what destroys the church. The false religion. As we move into, this is an age of blind faith. Its motto is, I believe. And you manifest what you believe. It's an age of transmutation, mutable. But we're moving into a fixed age. So the lesson here is illusion, delusion, deception. It's the tale of Leviathan. And that's what you're supposed to learn here. Groupthink. And you're doing it in the red letter church. Right? The red letter. You're groupthink with people of like mind that have the red words pretty much. And understand them. And are in this fish going this away. This fish connects the beast to the chained woman, Andromeda, the daughter of the king, who sacrificed her to the kraken. You have to know the Greek mythology here to understand this. Alright, now that is your lesson. For 30 years, you have to learn religion and the tales of all the religions around the world. All religions are astrological tales. Now you're going to get some help to understand this. Let's go back to Neptune. Neptune in Libra, the hidden wisdom of the heavens. It brings the knowledge. It is a hidden knowledge, that serpent, that brings harmony and balance. When Neptune first entered Libra back in the early 60s, the mystery schools were supposed to start releasing this information to us. This is the hidden wisdom of the heavens. What they gave us was a one-liner in the newspaper. They didn't call it an astrocast. They called it a horoscope. And they put us all in Western astrology and double-crossed all of us. They found themselves what they would call a technical loophole, and they gave us really the opposite of what we should have had. This is the hidden wisdom of the heavens. This is the feathered serpent. Scorpio and Libra were one sign. It was a great eagle with this hidden serpent in its claws. You will know it today as the flag of Mexico. He's Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. I did a video called Fiery Serpent on the Pole. Go find it. It's going to explain to you about this constellation. And if you learn this hidden wisdom, then you completely understand the tales of Leviathan. That makes perfect sense. So this hidden wisdom is found in a couple of places. One of them is right here. You can go through all of the traditions, constellation by constellation. Pick one constellation and go through all the traditions. Get the names of the stars, the translations, and start layering those stories and watch how it comes alive. Or you can go to Central and South America, from, like we have Teotihuacan, the Temple of the Sun and the Moon. Well, that's the Temple of Leo and Cancer. The rest of them are there. It's built into the architecture. You have to know the alchemical language, and then you can go down there and look at what the ancients left, what our ancestors left, and you can know this wisdom. That's why they were so hell-bent on destructing it and taking everybody's zodiacs away, and why they tell you the Aztec calendar is a Mayan calendar. They lie about everything. But if you get astrological eyes and alchemical ears, you can know all this. But this knowledge, the hidden wisdom of the heavens, is what helps you learn the lesson of religion. Okay? That I'm giving you the answer. One, because you've already had your first Saturn return. And I'm in the same boat as you. I didn't find this information till I'm in my 50s. I didn't know I was supposed to do all this, but in a funny way, I kind of did. Just happenstance through my life, picked up that knowledge here and there. And now I have it. I have the same Neptune. So I get it. And it's never too late. Both of us are coming up on our second Saturn return. So, time to come to that first Saturn return and see how you do with all this, what you're supposed to be doing with that crazy imagination and that negative influence in your life and that shy tongue and that being the loner. Let's go see how you change. What is a Saturn return? Biblically, Jesus started his ministry at 30 years old. That's your first Saturn return. It's the true age of accountability. It's a rite of passage. It's an initiation right into the mysteries. It's the time in your life that your parents are no longer taking care of you. For that matter, you switch places. Now it's time for you to begin taking care of them as they start to grow into old age. It's a rank up in the family. You get to go to the secret meetings now. You're grown up now. So we go there and find out, what is your purpose? Let's bring us back to our birth time. We're almost an hour in. We haven't even got to the first Saturn return. 10:33, 2:24, 67. Okay, my coordinates are good. Let's write down our logistics for Saturn. And they are 359.34, 0.27.4. Alright, we're going to take off into the future 30 years. Go to your first Saturn return, which you've already had. Find out what your purpose is and see how much you've changed or grown up. Now, people ask me, is my purpose my job? If it was a real world, yes, it would have been. But none of us have lived our lives. We've all been programmed to change in this messed up reality and system we live in. So if your purpose is your job, you're lucky. But it really doesn't have anything to do with how you make money or how you support yourself. If it is, like I said, you're lucky. But it's still your purpose, regardless of whether you use that purpose to have a career. It's how you feed yourself and why you're here are not necessarily the same thing. How you support yourself. So off we go. We're coming back around to Leviathan 359. I'm watching the numbers here. 34, 27, 4. I went too far. 34, 27, 4. Okay. There we go. April the 3rd, 1996 at 9:44 in the morning. Your Mars is opposite where it was before. It's between Saturn and the Sun. Mercury's still here, debilitated, now combust of the Sun, and Mars is worse here than where he was before. At least in mutable Earth, Earth was a little grounded. This ain't grounded at all. You got 3 malefics right here. This is not good. Is Mercury retrograde in all of this? No, at least he's not retrograde. But you're still a little bipolar on that feminine axis of the mutable cross. Now, this is how people see you. They don't see you as fire, as Leo anymore. They see you as mutable water. Just an associate, somebody they know, like mind. You know, Pisceans are happy, bubbly. They're generally very cheerful people. But with this Mars here, it's almost like that depressed state. Your Mercury, combust of the Sun, debilitated. So again, it's weak. And now, instead of retrograde, it's being oppressed from an outside source. And there's the source. Again, you still have this negative, masculine influence in your life. Venus in the Pleiades. Whoops, what was that about, Levette? You got real lucky here. Your heart got lucky twice. Your heart got lucky twice. Aldebaran, the Pleiades, I hold the 7 stars in my right hand. Your heart's in his right hand. Don't get any better than that. That's the flock. Your heart is with the flock. It's almost like you're in the church here. Because your heart is with the flock. Your heart is with the people. But you're not allowed to say anything. And this is like the damn preacher. And he's got you in the church. And there's a lesson to be learned here. And you are the damsel in distress now. The Cinderella story. Waiting on somebody to come save you. Wow. Opposite your sun again. Your sun and your moon are determined to be opposite. People see you as the damsel in distress. And it's a full moon. What you got going on for you right now is your intuition. Your moon is aspecting the water in Pisces. Your intuition. Jupiter in Sagittarius, his house of philosophy and ideology. Is he retrograde? No. You're not thinking outside of the box. But Jupiter Venus is still good to you, your heart, and Jupiter is still benevolent to you. Jupiter is just wicked as he can be in Pisces. He wears everybody's mask. He's worse than Mercury the trickster. But Jupiter here is very benevolent to you. Jupiter rules ideology and philosophy. This is the sage of Terra. The sage is the shaman. The Terra is the earth. He's the earth shaman. The illuminated mind. He eats the psychedelics to illuminate his mind. So your belief system is now in philosophy and ideology. And your desires are ideological desires. So everything you got going on is Jupiter. Jupiter rules all this Pisces. Jupiter rules philosophy and ideology, and he rules religion. So Jupiter's being good to you, but he is your lesson. He's your lesson. You know, he's Jupiter. He's Jupiter. You want to know about Jupiter, you go Jupiter. Read everything about Peter. That is Jupiter. That's how you need to know your enemy here. Saturn's teaching you a lesson about this groupthink, about religion, about philosophy and ideology. And your Jupiter flipped as well. Your sun and your moon flipped, and Jupiter is opposite where he was. Your Mars went opposite. Your sun and your moon are still opposing each other, and your Mars and your Jupiter pulled 180 degrees. Started in mutable, and both of them in mutable. Jumping mutable, fire and air for Jupiter, and water and earth for Mars. Both of them. Your root chakra and your desires did a 180 from your natal chart. A lot going on here. But you overcame those retrogrades. That alone is super impressive, because what you had retrograde was just devastating. The outer planets, that was helpful. But you're still over here all by yourself. You're the loner. That's how others are seeing you. Okay, so a lot of personality changes. Let's find out why you're here. Sagittarius, you are here to illuminate the mind. That's what you're here to do. So let's talk about, this was the age of the Greeks. Jupiter here is Zeus, the king of the gods. And in the age of Gemini, they would look up in the heavens, and there's Jupiter, king of the gods, the illuminated mind. And it was a time of the Greek philosophers, right? So we think of Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, Herodias, Paracelsus, Paracelsus. We think of all these great Greek philosophers, and then we think of today's philosophers: Freud, Jung, Goethe, Nietzsche, Descartes. But in alchemy, it's much older than all of that. This is, like I said, the shaman of the earth. And all around the earth, every tribe was given a plant, like the Native Americans. The desert Indians had peyote or mescaline. Some Indians had tobacco, some had cannabis, some had ayahuasca. Europeans had amanita. India had the psilocybin mushroom. The Orient had the poppy. Africa had ibogaine and the dream bean. Everybody had something that the holy man would take to illuminate the mind, the shaman, so he could heal his people. So I always recommend, if you catch this, you need to illuminate the mind. But, you need to do it in such a way, the proper way. First, like I said, a plant was given to every tribe. So you need to do the plant that goes with your DNA. I do not recommend that Europeans go to South America and do ayahuasca. You see the serpents. You're talking to the serpent people, the serpent race. That's not your people. You're not going to get the healing you and your people need from that. That's theirs. You know, DMT, you talk with the machine elves. Everybody was given something that was for their people. So when you start messing with other plants that are not for you, you're messing with chakras, entities, and deities you shouldn't be messing with. You weren't given that piece of Orion, the body of Orion. And then again, if you're really intelligent, you don't have to do that at all. These days, you can just go on YouTube and see people that's had Amanita trips, or people that's talked to the machine elves, or the serpent people, and you can know that knowledge through them vicariously. You know, they tell us the fire's hot. We can believe them, or we can touch it ourselves and get burnt. Right? Is he retrograde? Our numbers are 37083. No. So you're grabbing control of that out there imagination. It's not as woohoo as it was when you were a kid. But your lesson is philosophy and ideology. Illuminate the mind is why you're here. Sorry about that. Alright, so Saturn gives you 30 years to do this. This is your purpose. Saturn rules this circle. He rules Aquarius. He rules astrology, karma, alchemy, the law of equivalent exchange. You reap what you sow, so he's got a payoff. He rules old age and the golden age, and that's his payoff. One is, depart from me, I never knew you, and you go off into old age miserable. The other, unprepared for retirement. The other one is, well done, good and faithful servant. You get to spend your golden years in my golden age. He makes your golden years his golden age. So let's go find out how you do, because you got that coming up. You got a lot coming up. Coming back to Leviathan, 359. $34.27.4. Not hitting my button. There we go. Alright. Your Venus is back in its natal position. This is restoring the years the locusts have eaten. I don't even have to go any further to tell you this is a well done, good and faithful chart. That right there alone tells me. And she's not retrograde. Exalted heart. He's going to restore your heart's desire. Now people see you as this Piscean moon. It's at 12%. It's coming in as a waning moon. You become the bull. You become the right hand of the Messiah. You started out as him. You started out on the fixed cross. You stayed on the fixed cross. Mercury, he's no longer debilitated. He's no longer retrograde. But help him, he's still combust of the sun. I'm sorry, let me back up. This is May the 24th, 2025. You're going to have your second Saturn return 1 year after the next eclipse. 1 year and 1 month, 13 moons. Or 14 moons actually, because there's 13 in a year. Alright, Jupiter, you now have a very Masonic belief. He loves being in Venus's house. Jupiter has just been benevolent to you the whole time. He's been in the 3 houses that could have actually benefited you. So your desires and your beliefs are fixed now. They're fixed. They're unmovable now. So are you. You're unmovable. You're the bull. Nobody's moving you. Problem with Mars. You've constantly had a problem with Mars. This one's a little different. Mars is debilitated here. He's no longer bipolar. You're no longer unstable. But here, this could denote a disability or lazy. Starting a bunch of projects and not finishing them. Now, that's one way to look at it. Here, no country would ever start a war with Mars debilitated in Cancer. They would lose. Whoever throws the first stone is lose. So I always look at this as peace on earth. This is peace on earth. Actually in water, but it's peace. It brings peace on earth. Mars, earth is opposite this in the heavens. So when Mars is here, there's peace on earth, Capricorn. So that, especially at a second Saturn return, that's how I would look at this. And it's Mama's house, so there's peace at home. Finally, that negative energy, that mutable negative Virgo to Pisces energy, it's finally at peace. There's peace in the valley, peace at home, Mama's house. You would look at it differently if you caught that in your natal chart. But your heart exalted, you get your heart's desire. Your belief system is fixed. Your words and logic are fixed. Nobody's moving you. You don't move the bull. He's very intimidating. Nobody's pushing him around. He's not going to attack you, but he's going to stand his ground. I earned this. This is mine. Nobody's taking it. This is my field. The ram attacks you head on, never stops. Bam, 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 bam. Angry ram. The goat waits. It's patient. It waits till its enemy turns its back. That bull, he's going to stand there and dare you. I dare you. But I like that. Peace on earth. I hope you don't end up with a disability because it could denote that. I'm just putting it out there. That you're not able to do things, right? You are unable. And we are getting up in the years, aren't we? But other than even the Mars, this could be happiness, right? No war. No war. So all this looks real happy. Jupiter's happy here. Mercury, even though he's combusted the sun, he loves being in Venus's house. Venus couldn't get any better here. The moon, your intuition is just spot on. But you know what? It's not over here. What should you be doing? The test is over. The purpose is over. You fulfilled why you're here. You done good. You're being rewarded. But life is not over yet. What next? Oh, right back to the beginning. It's groupthink. It's being with people of like mind. It's being with the people of the red letter church. Your lesson ends up being what you will be doing in your retirement. You're going to groupthink with people of the red letter church, and your heart's in it, and your intuition's in it. That's how people see you. Yeah. That turns out pretty good. Alright, send in some books. Pick a tricks, moon magic, astrology from the age of Cancer. I'm not going to send one for Gemini. We have that. We have Buddha, Thoth, Hermes, those emerald tablets, all that knowledge. You just have to be able to read it with astrological eyes and alchemical ears, and you will see it too is an astrology book. Stellar Theology and Masonic Astronomy. I think this one will probably affect you the most. You know, people who have Venus and Jupiter here, and you've had both, are just fascinated with things Egyptian. They don't know why. They're just drawn to the pyramids, or drawn to the stories, the Sphinx, the motif, the legends. They're just born into them. So, Stellar Theology and Masonic Astronomy. Astrology from the Masonic Age of Taurus perspective. Spherical Kabbalistic Astrology from the age of Cardinal Fire Aries. Witness of the Stars, a Christian Piscean perspective of astrology. Keep in mind, all of them are full of traditions of men. The guy that wrote the Christian one, he was a minister, and he still worshipped the god of fire, and he was heavily Masonically influenced because he talked about Orion all the time. He never found the stone the builders rejected, Fomalhaut. So take all of them with a grain of salt, but it helps you because it's astrology perspective from water, earth, water, air, earth, and fire. Water. We don't have a book per se for the age of Aquarius. We do have the red letters in the New Testament are talking about the age of Aquarius, not Pisces. The New Testament black and white words are Piscean. That was John the Baptist was the Messiah for this age. He was the sacrifice for Pisces. The Christ is the sacrifice for Aquarius. Now, if you have any questions or, well, no, we're not there yet. We have to go back to the beginning. I just was telling you about the books. Let's go back and do your circle and your cross. Whoops, here she goes again. It just startles me when she does that. 2:24, 67, 10:30, 3 o'clock and over. All right. I want to talk about Aquarius first. Actually, let's just go ahead and get your circle out of the way, because your circle is air. It's a circle cut into 3 pieces of pie, and its color is red. In the first piece of pie, you have a symbol of Aquarius and a symbol of the sun. In the second piece of pie, you have a symbol of water, Scorpio. It's really an eagle, not a scorpion. Its color is white. It's feminine, and you have a symbol of Scorpio here. You know, here this is red, so you're what I call the red hat. You have red hair or a red hat. Your left hand is white, and you have that eagle there. The American Silver Eagle quarter. It's a quarter that was minted before 1965. 1964 and before, all the quarters are silver. That would be a great talisman for you, for like a bracelet on your left hand. Now, at your feet is Leo, so you walk on fire, okay? Or you walk on streets of gold. You have a symbol of Leo, a symbol of the moon, a symbol of Pluto, retrograde. Its color is yellow or gold, so you've got on the golden shoes, or you walk in fire, you walk on golden streets. And don't forget the symbol of Pluto retrograde there. And in your right hand is Taurus, fixed earth. Its color is black and it's feminine. So on your left hand is the white glove, and on your right hand is the black glove. And you have it's feminine, and you have a symbol of Taurus. That's your cross and your circle. But I want to talk to you about Aquarius. Aquarius is the Messiah. But there's a lesson here. He's also the self-martyr. The self-martyr. He said, no man takes my life, I lay it down. In a way, we could say that what that is saying is, nobody done this to you but you. We make the choices in our life. Nobody done this to you but you. But it's also a very benevolent sign. It's the most benevolent sign. It's the one who gives himself for the whosoever, ruled by Saturn. Saturn is your ruling planet. Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius. They're one. Here, Saturn in Capricorn, Saturn rules government, education, military, post office. These are civil service jobs. I even put waitress here because it's the one that serves the many. Reminds me of Kennedy. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He's the same way. Ask not what God can do for you, for humanity. Ask what you can do for humanity. That's you. An Aquarian generally is a very giving person, but that duality, they can be very selfish. I don't see a selfish person here. I don't see a selfish person. I see the one that is the self-martyr, that gives himself for the whosoever. Somebody who has morals, but caught the short end of the stick a couple of times in life. It wasn't easy. Saturn's lessons never are. Those who are children of Saturn, Capricorn, Aquarius, you're already there. You were told to take up your cross and follow him. His cross is your cross. You started in the master of air, and you ended up the master of earth, the heart. Your ruler goes from Saturn to the heart, and that's absolutely beautiful. And it passed through the water to get there, from heaven to earth, and it had to pass through here when you took on that Piscean religious flavor. But you learned the lesson. Now, that was why you was there after all anyway, wasn't it? You were supposed to be there anyway. You didn't waste that time. You learned the lesson. It was a knowledge you needed to know. You needed to see how it worked. Alright, if you have any questions or comments, you can put them in the comment section below. If I know that answer, I'll give it to you. If I don't, we can put our heads together and try to find the answer. I'm doing charts back to back right now, so please make your comments or questions in the next day so this chart's still fresh in my mind. This video is unlisted. Only you and I have the link. You can share the link with whoever you like. You can download this video and put it on your channel. You can download it and keep it. If you lose the link, I'll be glad to replace it for you at any time, as long as my channel is still there. I want to thank you for your donation to my channel. It really helps me out. I hope this video has helped you as much as your donation helped me. And I want to especially thank you for your patience with me in getting this to you.